Well, it's been a long time since I've done an update on my aquaponics greenhouse, so I figured today was as good a day as any. I've got these aquariums sitting here full of alkaline water, hopefully to grow some spirulina outside for the tilapia. And I've totally rebuilt everything in here since the last time we were on, and I built this. It works out to 230-gallon tank if you can consider the top portion, which is also float trays. I had a dog get in here and just make an absolute mess not too long ago, and I haven't fixed all that yet. This tank here is another spirulina tank, and it's doing quite well, but it's been in here where the temperatures are a little bit warmer. Now let's get in here and take a peek. Okay, there's my lettuce. Some of it's still kind of mangled from when the dog was in here. I bought a little cheap koi feeder on eBay, and it's just sitting on a couple of bricks here. It is programmed just for one time a day feed. And these tubs down here, aside from having some junk in them at the moment, have water chestnuts, and that water chestnut is just going crazy. This one's not doing too bad. In the little bucket there is an avocado that's had a problem with the freeze earlier, so I brought it in, and as you can see now it's starting to come back. And there's a close-up of the best water chestnut. I'm hoping to really get water chestnuts going really good in here. Okay, and I've got lettuce. This is a bell pepper, asparagus, jalapeno. I forget what herb that one is. Puppy, get down. There's another bell pepper. Lots and lots of lettuce. I put up spinach in here, but it didn't do real well. This here is a CO2 dispenser. It's very simple. It's 1 cup of sugar to a tablespoon of yeast, and then you fill it full of lukewarm water. And there goes my compressor. It's hooked up to this, which acts as a diffuser. Gets the CO2 into that. There's also an air pump in that. Okay, my tomatoes are doing absolutely wonderful. I've been picking tomatoes off of this since I put all this in here. And I got some rosemary, pineapple, lots and lots of tomatoes, and making all the noise is my compressor back here. And this is a reservoir. Let me step out and I'll explain what that's all about. Okay, get out of all that noise. Okay, what happens now is I have one big pump in the tank. It's 150 gallons per hour, and it's okay. Now that the compressor's off, the pump is timed to go on every 4 hours and for a half an hour, and then the other pump inside that reservoir, ouch puppy, kicks on and sends that water right back into this tank. Now there's constantly water feeding from the tank through the top float bed and then back into the tank again. I have the compressor set up. It's an oilless compressor, and it delivers oxygen to the tank. And the idea behind that is that in the case of a power failure, I still have oxygen going to this tank, because of course all my pumps, everything else will shut off. And that's it for in here, and I'll talk to you again in a little bit. This is a little bitty wind turbine that powers a couple of batteries that goes to the greenhouse. And the hopes is that that will also run a small air compressor. I'm sorry, not air compressor, air pump, so that again I have some backup when we have a power failure, which doesn't happen often, so it can take a while to charge up those batteries. That's perfectly fine. Okay, I am always looking for ways to help reduce the cost of these aquaponics systems. So I have a couple of these windmills. They are a max of 850 watts. They're connected into a grid tie unit as well as some reconditioned batteries that I have. Okay, this is my catfish tub. It's just one of the smaller child swimming pools. It's about, I think, 850 gallons. And it's full of all kinds of great little goodies here. I've got different kinds of duckweed. You can see what's kind of left of my water hyacinths, but they're starting to come back. I have several water plants in here as well. And I have channel cats and mud cats in this. And I use this actually to water these. And this is just starting. I haven't quite finished these. But these are called wicking beds. And you dig a hole, you put a layer of plastic down at the bottom so that it creates a reservoir, and then put a layer of some type of fibrinous material like hay. I used a lot of my old tomato vines from last year, and then start piling organic matter and soil on top. And it's supposed to hold the water in and make it better for your plants. I have grapevines and raspberry cane on these, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these beds. I've got one that I'm building back here. This one I'm getting ready to put the weed barrier on. This one's got the weed barrier sitting on it. I got to put more organic material on top. This one is the last one that I'm digging, and it's almost down deep enough. And I have these done, and like I said, it's grapes and raspberry cane. And I'm leaving one set of grapes and raspberry cane that I'm not going to do this with. And I'm going to compare over the course of the next couple of years how they do as compared to the ones that are in the wicking beds. And hopefully get a little production information as well. I have no doubt it's going to be a lot higher on the wicking beds than it is on these. Anyway, this is another project, and I have a grate over this little pond to keep the puppy out. Puppy getting into trouble as usual. And what I've got in here right now are just some fathead minnows. Fathead, flathead, I'm not sure how that goes. And as you can see, there's a, maybe you can see. Now you can see there's a piece of tubing coming in out of that and through some PVC pipe. And it goes from there into the bucket. And I'm going to run several buckets in. I think I'm going to run 3 pumps in here, and each one is going to be on a timer going to these buckets. And I'm going to test out using the pond aquaponically for my garden, because we have a big problem with gophers and squirrels. So we got a problem with gophers and squirrels and all those other kinds of little nasty little guys that like to get in there and eat your plants, not to mention rabbits and squirrels. So the goal is to do things in these buckets, and maybe I won't have my garden eaten up so bad, and be able to keep a little better control as far as insect-wise too. And I'll keep you posted on that one. Last year I was talking about this little area beside my greenhouse and what I was going to do with it. I had a bunch of trees kind of just sitting in tubs along over here, and decided that that was just too close to this area in order for me to be able to sit in here comfortably and walk around in here and all that, because the trees are all micro dwarfs. So I moved all those trees all along the outer rim here, and I don't know how well you can see it, but that's my avocado here. This is an apple. That one's a little orange, blood orange, pomegranate, plum tree, and the like. Now over here I've got a little lilac starting to get its leaves and flowers from the winter time. And in these buckets, as you can see going down here, are all blueberries. Now we have very alkaline soils and water here, and so in order to keep the acidity up for these guys, I have them in bark inside these buckets, and I'm really careful how they're watered. I have 2 different varieties of blueberries. This one is already blooming, or actually beginning to bloom. The other ones haven't quite started yet. They're still trying to get their leaves back, but as you can see, there's lots of little buds everywhere. I have strawberries that I've planted down in these mounds around them, so hopefully I will have some nice strawberries over here too. And this little pond is the one I was digging. Turns out soil doesn't perk right there, so I didn't have to line it. It's just filled with water. Again, I've got mud cats, channel cats, and some bluegill in here. It's a little bitty pond. It's probably 500 gallons, 400 gallons. And then I have a little bog over here, and I've got some various things in there. I've got some black gamecock iris. I have some giant taro, some umbrella plant. Was that St. Jacob's walking stick? Jacob's walking stick. Lots of parrot's feather, and there's a few other things in there I can't remember right now. And mostly over in this area is not the edibles theme like I have for everything else. I'm going to plant some bulbs in here and things. But a lot of what's in here is actually edible. The pennyroyal is edible. Of course, the duckweed is edible. The purple stuff here is water celery. I have sage and rosemary and a few other herbs in here, basil and stuff. So I mean, part of it's edible, part of it's not. This is going to be, I still don't know if I'm going to put a fish tank here or a planter here with these bricks. I'm not entirely sure yet. I've got everything fenced off to keep my chickens and my puppy out of here, because I don't want her falling in the pond and drowning. She's just 7 weeks old. But anyway, that's all of this, and I think that's the end of my projects for this year so far. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.